All right, good afternoon.
Hey everybody, hope you're doing well. Josh,
Yeah.
when's the last time before this week that you read the book of Zephaniah?
Zephaniah, probably college. I took a minor prophets class in
Yeah,
college, so
probably.
probably 5 years ago.
5 years ago? And it may have been longer than 5 years since I've read the book of Zephaniah. And I bet many of you have never read the book of Zephaniah or even knew Zephaniah was in the Bible. Zephaniah is, as Josh said, one of the minor prophets. They're not called minor because they're not as important as the major prophets, but there are, I believe, 13 books at the end of the Old Testament that are shorter. They're minor in that they're shorter. In fact, Zephaniah's only has 3 chapters, but he's an important prophet. Zephaniah prophesied, and we want to encourage you to read those 3 chapters before Sunday. It's located between the book of Habakkuk and the book of Haggai, probably 2 other prophets you haven't read in a while. And it's 3 chapters long, and I'm going to be honest with you, the first 2.5 chapters are really pretty disturbing. It's pretty negative news.
That's not very good.
But in the last 11 verses, God gives his people, the remnant of his people who've humbled themselves, who are getting ready to experience some difficult times, some hope. And he shows them that they're going to experience God's love in a new way. And us going through this pandemic, it's been going on now for a while, 5-6 weeks or so. I think we can, in those last 11 verses, especially verse 17, find some things that can give us some hope and reassure us of God's love during this time. So I want to encourage you to read the book of Zephaniah, but Josh, there's a couple other things they can do as well.
Yeah, we want to encourage you to read 2 Kings chapter 21 through 23, and basically it's going to talk to you about who was the king at the time. And one of the kings that's written about in chapter 21 is Manasseh, and he was not maybe the best influential person to be around.
Yeah.
And then you have Josiah there in chapter 3 that we'll read about. And so we want to encourage you to read read those 3 chapters, and we want you to look at the different kings that were there at the different times and how they influenced people. Write down a couple ways that they influence people. Manasseh's maybe not going to be so positive, but Josiah may be a little more positive. And then we want you to also write, how can you influence people, or what are you doing to influence the people in your life?
Yeah, Manasseh is Josiah's grandfather, and then Ammon is Josiah's father. Josiah was 8 years old when he became king.
Right.
And but he was one of the few good kings.
Mm-hmm.
And so, as Josh said, compare how Manasseh influenced the nation, what he did, and how Josiah did, and then I'm going to look at that and say, now how can I be a better influence by looking at Manasseh and looking at Josiah? And then those were the guys that Zephaniah prophesied during Josiah's reign. And I think we'll learn some neat things Sunday to help us appreciate and experience God's love in a new way.
Yes, and so we invite you to join us on Sunday. We'll be on Facebook at 9:15, and we'll start the watch party around that time as well, and then we'll be on YouTube as well and those things. So we'll see you then.
See you Sunday.